I am upset. I am legitimately upset, and I did not think if I had gotten this news that I would be. Because I am not the kind of person who typically gets angry at game studios, or I should actually clarify, game publishers. The devs and the studios are rarely at fault. It's almost always the publishers. I'm rarely angry, even at publishers, when I get news like this. Typically, this kind of news is reassuring to me. It's not good news, but it's also not bad news. I take it as it comes. That being delays for games that I look forward to. Some of you might know that I have been a hightail waiter for, God, we're getting closer to a decade than we are further from it at this point. And, you know, the game's seen multiple delays since. We're closer to it coming out than ever now, but I've had to go through some pretty serious heartbreak waiting for Hytale. And yet I never attacked the game or went after the people making it for the fact there were delays, because I recognize a team willing to delay a release that is highly anticipated, where they're guaranteed to make a shitload of money, delaying that and taking the negative will from people over doing so, demonstrates they care more about producing a good product at the end of all this than they care about keeping people happy in the short term. That most of the time, this indicates to me that studios are prioritizing long-term player happiness over short-term gains and, say, a big boost in the stock market after an earnings call, for instance, right? And so, Hytale waiting has been a struggle for me. But there have been other games I've been waiting for as well. Notably, you guys might be aware of it, the amazing Grand Theft Auto 6. Maybe the most, no, I'd say actually just the most anticipated piece of media of all time. The trailer for this game has surpassed the trailer for Avengers Infinity War, the most viewed trailer of any piece of media ever. So this game is now the most anticipated, presumably, safe to say, piece of media in human history. Now, I am already, you know, of course I'd be excited for GTA 6. You know, it's GTA 6. Everyone loves Grand Theft Auto. Everyone loves Red Dead. Rockstar makes great games, and they're always, like, setting the standard for the next, like, 5 or 6 years of video games that release. You know, if you can't at least do as good as what Rockstar did, your shit seems outdated when it releases after a new Rockstar game. So I was already excited for GTA 6. Everybody was. And then they announced its setting, Florida. Or in this game, it's going to be Leonida. Those that don't know, I'm from Florida. I grew up the first 21 years of my life in Florida. I was born in St. Pete, then I lived most of my life in Tampa, and then I lived, or my childhood in Tampa, and then I lived my teenage and adult life north of Tampa in the sort of rural coastal areas. And then eventually around 21, I moved to California, and then a few years later, I moved to Washington, and I'm in Seattle now. But I've still got family in Florida. I go back from time to time. I grew up there for 21 years. I've been all over Florida. I'm a Florida man, okay? Everything about the marketing, the imagery of this game has me fucking hyped, dude. We got, also, this is the website, the Rockstar website. You get a bunch of info on different characters that are going to be relevant to the game, and it's pretty cool. My favorite part of the website is the postcards area, where you get to see some different locations. I don't know how many of you guys know this. This is fucking North Carolina, dude. This is not Florida. That's Table Rock, North Carolina. And if you've been to Florida and you've been to any of the Carolinas, you know this is not a Florida river. This is a North Carolina-ass river. I know it says Visit Leonida. A big thing that happened was some stuff leaked for GTA 6. They had to release this to dissuade certain negative sentiment around the look of the leaks. And it does seem as though it's not just going to be Florida in GTA 6, but that a lot of the map is going to be north of Florida, which is going to be kind of a southern super state, we'll call it, called Gloriana. A combination of a bunch of iconic different locations from across the American South and the Blue Ridge Mountains combined into one single state, which is going to be a parody of Georgia. You've got places from Georgia, North and South Carolina, Alabama and stuff. This is clearly Table Rock, the most iconic mountain in all of the Blue Ridge Mountains in North Carolina. Like, no one can deny this is Table Rock. If you've seen it before, you know that's it. It lines up perfectly. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting how big this game is and how much it has to offer. Hell, like, look at how beautifully they've depicted the Keys. This is Key Largo. Key Largo looks great here. It's obviously thinner in the game, but fuck, you know, I could gush about this game for hours, but I'm not going to do that because we've got some bad news. I have been quite obsessed with this game, in large part because it's about to come out. I'm a Florida man. I've never seen my home state so beautifully represented in any piece of media, much less a video game, where it is very possible that my childhood home will be present in this game. Like there's a good chance that my stomping grounds that I grew up in is going to be a part of this map that I will be able to explore, fuck around in, and have fun in. That is a level of excitement that I don't think you guys, even if you're just hyped for this game like everyone else, can match. This is a matter of me wanting to see, like, my home depicted in a piece of media like this for the first time ever. And it's not just a piece of media, it's fucking Grand Theft Auto 6. The video game of all time is going to be the video game that faithfully depicts my home state. I could not be more goddamn hyped. I cannot emphasize to you guys how day one I will be there for this game. Which I'm sad to say, that I am a shill for this game, and no matter what happens, I'm going to fucking buy it. Because the news coming out about the publisher behind this game, behind Rockstar, has been really, really, really upsetting. Some of you might know that we were supposed to get this game in about 6 months, in May. May 2026 is when we were supposed to get this game. Unfortunately, yesterday we got some bad news. Grand Theft Auto 6 has been delayed again by 6 months. Look at that, we went full circle, back to the topic of delays, right? And the news shouldn't surprise you. There were a lot of rumblings about this coming from behind the scenes at Rockstar, which I'm going to elaborate on a bit more in a moment. Rockstar Games has delayed Grand Theft Auto 6 for the second time. Previously scheduled for a May 2026 release, the studio's highly anticipated open-world crime epic is now scheduled to arrive on November 19th, 2026. We had 6 months left to wait, and they said, fuck you, have a year and some change. Like, and they didn't even set it till, like, November 6th either. Like, until exactly 1 year out. They set it, like, a year and a week out. You know, like, they really made sure, like, no, it's not just a single year. Tomorrow won't be less than a year till GTA 6. You gotta wait a couple weeks before it's less than a year till GTA 6 again. It's like, man, you really, like, that extra time on there, you did that just to make it hurt, I feel like. Yeah, obviously they didn't, but it felt like insult to injury that they didn't just send it out exactly a year ahead. They gave themselves, like, an extra week for some reason. Rockstar announced the latest GTA 6 delay on Thursday, just ahead of publisher Take-Two Interactive's earnings call, noting that an additional 6 months of development time will allow us to finish the game with the level of polish you would come to expect and deserve. Now, I've read a lot of these articles, and I would like to read it more in depth, but they're very wordy, so I'm just going to summarize the basic gist of it. According to Rockstar, this delay is a good thing, and it is purely being done to help polish up the game, that it is feature complete, more or less, and that they are just polishing up the game so it runs and plays as well as possible on release. I don't know if I believe that. You see, a few weeks ago, an insider who has actually correctly and provably leaked things in the past. When it comes to insiders in this industry, anybody could get a piece of correct... anyone could guess something to be in the game and then end up getting proven right despite the fact that they guessed and just got lucky. Anybody could get their hands on some actual leaked info, leak it, and then they have no more leaked info to get out, but they still make things up on top of that because at least one of their leaks was real, so people just assume they must be reputable. So I don't always opt for the idea that just because someone leaked something correctly once, that means that everything else they say, you know, they must be a good source. I don't really operate on that policy. But a couple weeks ago, an insider who has multiple times leaked real things that were later verified from Rockstar about GTA 6 came out with some really troubling news that pretty much everybody, including me, chose to ignore the obvious, that this guy has never been wrong. Every leak he's done has been proven right. He came out to say that he is getting word that within Rockstar, particularly Rockstar Edinburgh, that there is a lot of discontent, that morale is extremely down, that the team is being crunched like crazy, and it is possible that another delay could be coming. Pretty much everybody did not want to believe it. Everyone was like, yeah, this guy's got a good track record, but who knows? You know, he could just be making things up. Who knows? And so when it ended up being the case that Rockstar Edinburgh did have, or that they were going to delay the game, everyone was like, oh shit, maybe that poster was right. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna take everything that guy says as gospel from now on. He predicted this delay and what has come after the delay weeks ago. He warned us, we chose not to believe him, because we wanted to be optimistic about May 26th, and he was fucking right. And it did not take long for everything he talked about to end up being proven right, down to the low morale, as he said, behind the scenes at Rockstar. Rockstar is denying all of this, by the way. But a post came out shortly after the news that we got, and I'm going to get into that news in a moment. And granted, this is an anonymous poster. I will bet you my left and right nut that this is a real Rockstar employee who posted this. When I read it, I think it's going to be very obvious that a real Rockstar employee posted this, not a, like, clout-chasing faker. This is actually a copy-paste from a different forum, but it's on Reddit here. But Rockstar didn't just announce a delay. Behind the scenes, specifically at their Edinburgh studio, they mass laid off hundreds of positions. Hundreds of workers were fired. As it turns out, they were fired because they were in a Discord server together, unionizing. They were getting together, rallying together as many Rockstar employees as they could, so that they could reach a critical mass of support where they could have something called bargaining power, essentially meaning their business would be allowed into a pre-existing union. They would be provided the ability for the union to bargain for their rights and protections, such as better pay, less crunch time, less abusive work conditions on their behalf. And they were gathering together, trying to get enough support together to join the union. And Rockstar found out and fired all of them. Fired literally all of them. With Rockstar's excuse being that it was all, they were leaking things. That was their excuse. They were leakers, and they were violating their contracts by leaking. We all know they got fired because they were unionizing. I don't think anybody should be surprised. But many of you might be wondering, okay, but what does this mass layoff over unionizing have to do with this delay? Based on what we're seeing, and Rockstar has come out openly to deny this in a way that makes me feel like, okay, so it's definitely true that Rockstar feels the need to deny it. This delay is happening because of the layoffs. The GTA 6 devs tried to unionize. Rockstar said, fuck you, and fired hundreds of developers. And now they're not going to be able to meet their target of May 2026. And if you don't believe me, this post, that I am certain comes from a real insider at Rockstar, talking about what happened with these mass layoffs and the unionizing, I'm going to read it, and you guys can tell me if you think it's real, because everything about it tells me it's real. They do not try to clout chase here. They don't, like, tease that they might have info on GTA 6. It is entirely attacking Rockstar Corporate and talking about, like, how shit their coworkers got fucked. Like, nothing about this reads like a clout chaser trying to be like, oh, I work at Rockstar, guys, totally. Let me read this post. Hey, everyone. Rockstar employee of many years here. Undeniably, I want to remain anonymous due to retaliation from the company, and they will retaliate. But I may be willing to verify I'm an employee with @SpiderVice via DMs if required. I'm also a member of the union. SpiderVice is a big account in the GTA community. I've been reading a lot of the discussion on here and elsewhere about the firing of more than 34 of my colleagues last week. Oh, sorry, it was 34. I think across the company, they've been firing more people. 31 in the UK, plus 3 in Canada, and I think they've just fired people in the US too. And I've seen a lot of disinformation and lies that are really concerning. Particularly concerning how so many folk are willing to believe the company's excuses. Last week, my colleagues who were in the studio were each individually messaged by HR, Human Resources, for a short, friendly meeting, quote-unquote, under the friendly guise of, hey, are you free for a quick chat? Upon attending this meeting, they were handed an envelope with a short letter stating that their employment had been terminated for gross misconduct. regarding posts made in Discord. They failed to provide any evidence when asked, nor was any stated in the letter, and did not divulge any other information or reasoning, and no other reason was given other than gross incompetence, or not gross incompetence, gross misconduct, sorry. They refused their right to union representation in the disciplinary meeting, which is against UK employment law. Rockstar refused their right to union representation in the disciplinary meeting, which is against UK employment law, and were frog-marched out of the studio, with the meeting lasting less than 5 minutes. I think we've read enough already that you can tell this is clearly a real Rockstar employee and not a clout chaser making this shit up. Like, they're not talking like someone who's just making this shit up is. Like, this is clearly someone writing angrily about something they're going through at work. For colleagues who were not in the studio that day, they received a phone call from HR that lasted less than 2 minutes telling them they were fired and that they'd received the same letter as above. I'm aware of one employee who had a panic attack at this moment, and HR hung up on them during this panic attack, not caring at all about their well-being. These colleagues of mine were hard workers who have spent many years at Rockstar in critical roles, with colleagues who have been at Rockstar for more than 18 years, and none of them have ever had a disciplinary in that time. They are not easily replaced, and will certainly affect us in making our project deadlines. They didn't just fire random, like, people who fill up the coffee cups or whatever. They fired really important veterans at Rockstar that work on that were vital to the development of GTA 6. I guarantee you these layoffs are why they had to delay the game. They're going to have to spend 6 months rehiring people for these positions, like hiring to get people to replace these positions. And then they're going to have to get those people onboarded and then resuming development. Like, it's possible we're looking at another year delay after we get to the end of this one. Like, this is not a good thing to have happen in this stage of development. There are very senior artists, animators, QA testers, designers, programmers, and producers, including leads. All super talented people who are proud of their work over multiple Rockstar titles, and they all wanted what was best for Rockstar and their fellow colleagues. They fired heads of development, like the people in charge of like the animations lead. They fired like the lead of animation. They fired like the lead of programming. They fired the leaders of these parts of the studio that tell everybody else and organize everybody else. The amount of delay, firing one lead dev, one lead position in any area here is unbelievably bad. Like, this game might not be in our hands until 2028. Genuinely, if you're excited for this game, we genuinely might not see it until as late as 2030. Like, considering that this is probably just going to be the start of a lot of bad treatment of workers behind the scenes at this company, and the fact they're willing to do this extremely over unionization, I wouldn't be surprised if Rockstar is willing to delay the development of this game many more times to keep their workers from getting any bargaining power. Some of these members were off sick, recovering from surgery, or on paternity leave, fired without pay, losing their careers, and putting them into hardship in the lead up to Christmas, and even potentially losing their visas to work in the UK. Let me make this clear. I never saw any discussion or leaking of Rockstar projects in the Union Discord. The only ever discussion was around unionization efforts and the working conditions at Rockstar. The Discord wasn't public. It was a private Discord group that only contained Rockstar employees and the IWGB union officials. This was union busting and nothing else. Everyone fired was a union member. They were also predominantly from those who were on the union organizing committees of each UK studio. Just 1 week before, the union had reached 200 members, less than 200 members, but around there, taking us over the 10% threshold required to seek recognition and begin engaging in collective bargaining, allowing us to negotiate directly with management on the key issues that affect us: worsening crunch, inadequate pay, and inflexible working arrangements. They have fired over 34 of us now. There were over 250 of us in that union employee Discord group, so they're probably going to try to find and fire all 250 of those people. There is the fear that if they get away with this, they'll have nothing stopping them from doing this again and again. Those of us who are lucky and remain for now work in fear. fearful when talking to each other at the tea prep, fearful that we're next in line and are easily got rid of, too scared to go outside the studio and talk to or even acknowledge our colleagues outside protesting in fear of reprisals. Morale in the studio is at rock bottom. When we should be excited about what's to come over the next year, we are now totally deflated, and our trust and confidence in others is totally shot. Which is the truly heartbreaking part. As for us in the union, all of our ambition was to make Rockstar a happier, fairer, safer, and more equitable place. That's all. What has happened clearly shows that we care more about the well-being of our colleagues at Rockstar than the company does. The union remains unbowed and is fighting to win the reinstatement of every dismissed member of staff at Rockstar through legal means and campaigning. This fight is critical. If Rockstar can get away with this, they will keep treating their workers with disdain, disrespect, and subjecting them to continued illegal treatment. Thanks for your time, and I hope this is some truth that helps you all understand what's going on here at the moment. If you would be so kind, you can contribute to the fundraiser to support those fighting their dismissal here. This is a public fundraiser that everyone's been supporting for the devs who lost their job. In fact, if you guys would like to support some unionization efforts, you guys can go check out the link on fundraising.org. It would really be appreciated if you could also share the above link. I won't be cross-posting this to other forums, but please feel free to share. Cheers, X. I'm going to be honest, guys. Everything about this post reads to me like a 100 billion% accurate real post from a real Rockstar employee. Granted, I can't prove it, but we can all agree, there's no way this is just some clout chaser, right? This reads so clearly like somebody who is telling the truth and is from the situation. Their passion and anger and the amount of detail, but not overuse of detail. Just the use of the term tea prep. Yeah, wait, it's Edinburgh or Rockstar? Yeah, it would be called the tea prep area. Stuff like that. It's definitely real. It is definitely real. And the fact that we're finding out now that dozens of people have already been fired, potentially hundreds more might be fired because of the size of the unionization Discord, and that Rockstar has fired people, not just employees that are, working on the game in general, or interns or something. They fired development and design leads. They fired the leaders of certain design divisions of the game. 18, 20-plus year veterans who are extremely skilled, very used to working at the company, heavily grandfathered in, and were vital to the development and delivery of this game. I'm not joking when I say we could have to wait till 2028 to see this game come out. It's very possible what Rockstar plans to do is fire every employee involved in the unionization Discord. That this is just the first wave, and the next waves will be coming as they replace the positions of the last wave they fired. It is very possible that the people developing GTA 6 are going to be mostly different, fully Ship of Theseus out because of this unionization crackdown. So, never have I felt more pissed off at a corporation. I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually so fucking pissed about this, and it is such blatant anti-worker measures, and honestly, I imagine some people are gonna get radicalized by this. The fact that we were so close to getting GTA 6, the most anticipated game of all time, and then because Rockstar, I should say Take-Two, wanted to secure their bottom line and didn't want to dare provide their workers with some kind of, decent working conditions, they instead said, let's just fire a bunch of them. Let's just fire a bunch of them, jeopardize the development of our game, make our fans wait even longer to get this product, yeah, we just end up making more money in the end, so who cares? That's Take-Two's thought process. That's the publisher. That's what they think. Or the parent company, not the publisher. Rockstar is also the publisher, but you know what I mean. Really upsetting stuff, guys. Really upsetting stuff. This right here is why even gamers should care about stuff like workplace democracy, law protecting workers, especially people who work on your video games, man. You do not want the games that you're super excited for to be just around the corner, and then the company decides to do some bullshit like this that delays it a year. You don't want this kind of stuff to be legal. If you're a gamer you should care about politics, because if you do, you can elect people who care about this kind of stuff, or you can compel the people you elect to care about it at the threat of losing your vote by writing them a letter or calling them, which is a thing you can do to your representatives. And you can make them push for changes in the law that make stuff like this not just illegal, because this was illegal, but illegal and enforced. I'm so upset. I'm so upset. Let me know down below in the comments how mad you are. Like, I was so excited for GTA 6, and normally I wouldn't be angry about a delay, but this delay is different. This isn't a delay done to make sure the game is perfect before it comes out. It's a delay they chose to do as a symptom of their mass layoffs. There is no universe in which I will defend a game getting delayed because the studio decided to mass lay off some of their most important developers. That is some real fucking bullshit. Union busting is almost certainly why GTA 6 is not coming for another year at the soonest. The soonest we're getting it is another year, and there's a good chance we get another delay. Who knows how much more union busting and mass firing Rockstar plans to do? Who knows? Anyway, if you enjoyed, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe and ring the bell icon, follow my social medias, and join my Discord. I hope to see you around, and thank you for watching.